Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. So for Ethereum, we are also at a key decision-making phase down here. Technically, the move here to the upside is not broken. So technically, this could still become a more bullish scenario where we moved up in a wave one here. We did that together with Bitcoin, but in a completely different fashion into August. Here, Ethereum reached round about the 2K mark. We then, in this scenario, are currently coming down in an A, B, C correction, where I also would still expect one more low. And the question is just, are we holding the $1,000 level? Because below $1,000, for me, this scenario will get very, 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 very unlikely. I might still, buy a little bit here and there around the 1K mark, and to see if it breaks, I'll probably just wait to be stopped out below $1,000. And if it works out, it could take us into that wave 3 range, right? So it's time to be careful, because there's no guarantee this is going to work, especially the move of the 9th of November when FTX collapsed damaged this scenario. At the time, we also had a good chance, I think, to do it. So we had here at the time the wave 1, and then here A, B, C down into the wave 2 support area. This was a buy area and it worked out nicely. Yeah, it did move up. I talked about profit taking up here to move up the stop loss, which hopefully helped a lot of people. And it came, I think the warning came at the right time, because then we had the FTX collapse. But I think without the FTX collapse, this could have been a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we could have seen a nice rally. And maybe the bear market could have ended without FTX, honestly. But then it's about, a lot of people always look for fundamental reasons. And I've heard yesterday someone say in another YouTube video that, we would surely be on the way up without all these collapses like 3Commas, I think Voyager, all of these other, FTX and other exchanges and institutions, whatever, that went bust. My view is, it's not it's sort of their fault as well, but it's all connected, interlinked, right? Because without the bear market, these wouldn't have gone bust probably. So I need to be very careful what I say in these videos, but people like SBF, they could have just carried on in the bull run probably. And it had sentiment not turned bearish, they would probably still be alive, and we would all be super go Bitcoin 100K and whatever. Which doesn't mean what they did is correct, but it just means that it's the sentiment eventually that made these fall. And if you have bearish sentiment hit a fundamental situation which is on very shaky grounds, on a very shaky foundation like FTX was, then you get this situation. And Luna as well, when bearish sentiment, and there were other things involved, but in a bull run this probably wouldn't have happened. And if the foundation isn't good and then sentiment turns bearish, and everybody wants to dump their stuff and whatever, and then you get some bearish news as well, which only happened because of the bearish sentiment. It's market sentiment. If you understand the market mood and the sentiment, which the Elliott Waves represent, then you know what kind of news are made. And then these situations that we see at the moment, also that everybody is more concerned with, is SBF going to go into jail or not? More concerned with that than, the price, shows that we are sort of getting towards the end of this bear market, which doesn't mean it has to happen tomorrow. It doesn't happen in a couple of weeks. It's a bottoming process, and it will take weeks and months to play out, but it's typically very, very typical for Bitcoin bottoms. This is not the first Bitcoin bottom and Ethereum bottom I'm seeing. And typically you get these kinds of news when we're getting into that range. That's when everybody starts to talk about Bitcoin is going to zero and things like that. Okay, let's take a look here at this scenario again. So this is still technically valid. If we go below $1,000, I am probably not going to talk about this scenario anymore too much, even though it's still technically valid all the way down to 880. But the 1-2 setup will get very, very unlikely below $1,000. The bearish case, as I explained before, depending on what happens here now in the short term, I may change this a little bit. But the bearish case would be that we moved up here in an ABC pattern, ABC correction or WXY, and that we've come down in a wave 1, 2, we're now in a 3, 4, 5. yeah, and that could take us to 650. And this is when I'm going to buy down here, because I think either we will get a sort of rally to the upside here in a wave. This would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll start buying here with a view that we should get a wave 4 rally, because Bitcoin could do the same. I talked about that in the Bitcoin video, when we hit that low there, and then take profits at the wave 4 around that whatever 1200, 1250 mark. Or if it doesn't do it, at least we're very close to the low, right? So at the moment, I'm really careful with DCA, BTC, and ETH. I'm very careful anyway in this market at the moment, as I believe everybody should be, because we haven't seen the low yet, in my opinion. So even with ETH, I mean, we have this 1-2 setup, but as I said many times before, it's getting challenged it got challenged with the FTX issue. Yeah, I think it was quite likely before that. And since then, obviously, this movement still suggests we get one more low, and then it's all the question about, do we hold the $1,000 or not? But if I see that this pattern is working out, I'm going to buy down here, probably just below $1,000 or around that area, with a view that we should get that wave 4 up, and then there could be one more low down, and I will buy that up as well. And then as soon as we see a confirmed bottom, something like a first 1-2 setup, I'm going to buy in here as well. And then if we get those micro 1-2s, I will add as well. So that's sort of my strategy. But at the moment, because at the moment this is, it's time to be very careful. I do some swing trades short term sometimes here in this environment, but really not here the choppy setups. Not really. If I do, I set the stop loss very tight. Very concerned with moving up my stop loss, not using leverage. So that's what I do. You can do, of course, what you like. And I know a lot of people use leverage. Be ready to face headwinds, and so on. Okay, and in the very short term, this sort of unfolds as follows. So in the bearish count that I just showed you, this was probably a wave 1 down. Here we still have the view that we should get an ABC in a higher wave C and then come down like that. Yeah, and again, this wave down here could only be the wave 3. Then there will be a wave 4 up, as I just showed, and then a wave 5 down. We'll see that. We need to take it level by level here, or in a more bullish scenario. I mean, this could still become some kind of a 1-2 setup here, and we go higher in 5 waves. That's also possible, but we need to see what we do when we make this one more leg up, if we get it. Yeah. So at the moment, I'm really focusing only on ABC here, and then to take it level by level and see what's going on here. As I explained before, this is not an impulsive wave structure here at the moment. So it is most likely just a diagonal or a corrective wave. So in these scenarios, and the Elliott Waves help us to understand that, we need to be very careful, we need to take it level by level, yeah, because there are headwinds and we are driving on site. Yeah, it's not like we have a nice impulse where I can tell you we're definitely gonna, well, nothing is for definite, but we're gonna do this and do that. So here we need to have alternatives in place, which is exactly why I'm also so careful at the moment. Because with any approach, you will have difficulties here, because there is this choppiness in the market. Yeah, very, very choppy, which is characteristic for a diagonal pattern or a corrective move. So again, I remain of my view that this move here would look much better with a more extended C wave to the upside. And I think Ethereum has a greater chance to actually get this compared to Bitcoin, yeah, because it's holding much better. Bitcoin has already come down here. If we look at the relevant support areas on the Bitcoin chart, it's actually maxed out this white support area. And this is based on the retracements of this A wave, going all the way down to the nearly the 88.7% fib level on this chart here. Let me just adjust that. So it was more like that, yeah. I didn't reduce it down to the 88.7 because there were some other targets here. I did explain that in previous videos. But it's sort of this area down here going all the way down to 1160, 1162. If we drop below that level, I'm going to follow the blue count, but the blue count without another C wave to the upside, so that we would break down straight away. But this would only be my view if we break below that larger support area there. Until then, we have a chance to move higher still in this C wave, which would, in the macro perspective, just look much better. And it could take us into the $1,300 region, sort of low 1300s. And in the very, very short term, I know not everybody's interested in this, but I had to focus on this time frame in the last videos more extensively, because not too much is happening here. You don't see anything else, any any new developments unless you really look at this lower time frame. So this could still become the 5-wave move up, but it didn't hold support here, yeah, which was the warning that this small move doesn't work. But we are still in the yellow support area, so we're basically doing what Bitcoin is doing now. It could be that this was just again an overshooting wave B, like Bitcoin actually A down, overshooting wave B, and now we're coming down here in a C wave. That's a 5-wave move down, so it fits a C wave perspective, but it could also be a wave 1 down, and we're now breaking down further. The problem is that this move up currently, again, it looks very, it doesn't look very convincing, so I wouldn't be surprised to break below the previous low at 1190. On the other hand, if we now make it above the B wave high, or let's say already above the wave 1 high, would be a first indication here. That is the, but then we can also say that we've got resistance here around the B wave high and the wave 1 high. That's also a level of confirmation. So above 1203, I talked about that before, that level anyway. Above 1203, we can be more certain that the move up is happening. But as you see here, we moved above it, but then broke down. So that's not a sustained break. We need a sustained break. And that could happen in this wave 3 if the support area holds. So here in this scenario, we could come down all the way to around 1185 in the very short term. If we break below that, we are gonna drop into the larger support area, which seems like I accidentally deleted. So I'm gonna put that back onto the chart and what happened here. So let's just add that to the chart again. Make it white again. So this is the support area that we generally need to hold for this larger move to play out. And the smaller support area here is supporting the smaller move and setup where we could go up sort of straight away. But again, below 1185, we're probably going to drop into the larger support area, because then this setup is not going to work out. It's already facing headwinds here. As I said, this is pretty much a range, and we're trying to break out. We can't really do it. Maybe this is becoming some more of a complex correction with another breakdown. We'll see. It's all about, do we hold this support? These are not high probability setups. I have to repeat that. These are not high probability setups. Yeah, I mean, everybody who wants to trade this, be very careful. Low, small position sizes. This would become a higher probability setup if we, for example, get now, this is the first 1-2. Yeah, it's sort of a bit of hopium if this works, but if this works, yeah, then the micro 1-2 setup of the wave 3. So what you get in the wave 3 is obviously 5 waves as well. So if we get a first 1-2 here, hold support, then this is a better setup because it tells you the trend has shifted. This could very well just break down, yeah, because it's not ideal. We had 5 waves down, okay. In a C wave you get that, but it could also be a 1 down, a wave 2 up, and then we break down further and have another chance to rally from here. The problem is if we don't start to move up now and break down here, then probably Bitcoin is breaking below its support as well. So I think at the moment, because Bitcoin is much lower than ETH, respectively, in terms of retracements and so on at the moment, ETH has a better chance to get this C wave up than Bitcoin. So we'll see. So yeah, I understand it's a bit confusing at the moment, but that is unfortunately what the market is. Elliott Waves help us to bring some structure into this, allow us to understand what kind of scenarios are possible. And I try to show you the best selection of scenarios that I think is possible while trying to keep it as simple as possible. In some environments and times that is easier than in others. I understand here it's getting a bit tough because it's looking like a right mess, like the chart is. But unfortunately, that is what it is. And I can't show you only one scenario because it would set you up for failure, because it's just not representative of what the market is capable of at the moment. So yeah, hope you still like the update. Hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.